good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening. Good
day.
afternoon.
Good next year. Good last year. We're back at the best place on earth, the finest establishment known to man at Davidoff of London, with my bosses and my father's dear friends, Eddie and Edward Sahakian. Thank you very much for having us. We're very pleased to be back.
Very honoured.
Very honoured, yes indeed. Yes, the honour is bestowed upon us.
But we're here today. I mean, apart from being dressed for our holidays, rather optimistically given the weather, Eddie is in his Our Man from Havana suit.
Edward with the
Our Man from Havana hat.
the tight weave.
The demi-saison.
And then we're in a Miami Vice.
The Hawaiian shirts, and I must admit I've taken a little bit of inspiration from the man, the legend, Mr. Wei Koh.
I've taken a lot of inspiration from the man, Wei Koh.
And here we are. And what are we enjoying, Eddie? What do we have here? What's Edward? What is going on?
Well, Dad, why don't you speak to your sampler?
Well, Eddie some time ago asked me to put a few cigars together for a short smoke or
The short walk selection.
Short walk selection. Sometimes referred to as walking the dog selection.
Yes.
But is it a small dog you're walking, Edward? I mean, maybe it's like a poodle or a dachshund.
Well, these days it's probably dogs are quite small. You don't see very large ones in the street.
Maybe you have a bigger cigar, but you have a bigger dog.
Yeah.
I put a selection together, the things that I would enjoy myself.
And you don't even have a dog, do you?
I don't even have a dog.
You have a squirrel now, though, almost.
I
The
do, but
window squirrel.
unfortunately my squirrel has disappeared. As we were not here for a little while to feed him,
He's
given
gone
up
elsewhere.
hope. He's
No
found a better
squirrel.
home.
He's gone back to Spain.
But we have
But
the
the
cigars
Edward
instead.
Sahakian short walk selection. So what have we got, Edward?
Well, no, we've got, let's start here. We've got
The
the
entry.
Davidoff Interacto,
Ooh, very exciting.
which
Very
is actually
small.
a very good seller, surprisingly.
Is that your half filler or your medium
No,
filler?
that's
No,
long,
it's a
No,
full
no,
long
filler.
filler.
It's a long filler, proper.
43 ringgit, something like that, I think. 43.
It is. You're absolutely
Looks around
right.
about that
Yeah,
size.
yeah.
So,
And just the right size for a short walk.
How far would that take you? Once around Belgrave Square?
No. It depends how you smoke. The way I smoke them, this will last me a good half an hour. I can stretch it to 45 minutes if need to.
That's
And if
amazing,
needs, yes,
Edward.
Absolutely.
You're a marvel. And then what else we got? The Winston. Is that the? Is that?
that's the medium filler
Yes,
one, isn't it?
now the
It's
medium filler.
handmade.
That's not a choppuccino, but it's a sort of
halfway between,
It's
isn't it?
the Western Churchill, the Petit
Panatella, is it?
Panatella. A beautiful cigar again for the size of it. This wouldn't last me all that long. I think they do smoke a bit faster.
And that's because of the filler, right?
Because of the filler, and it's probably a good thing that it does, because sometimes you really want a short smoke, and this fills in that category very well. It comes in a lovely tin.
It does, yes.
Comes in a
very
nice tin.
Yeah,
Would
we
that
love
be
the
the sort of cigar
presentation.
you might light at Franco's and then have finished by the time you walk across the road?
Just about. Just about. It might stretch it up to Romy to have a shoe shine and
yes.
come back.
Yes.
So we're looking now. We've got the last of the Davidoff, which is a Nicaraguan.
That is the Nicaraguan,
But is this the short?
the short Corona,
Corona.
and it's a proper cigar in a shorter format.
Brings up the strength a little bit, no?
You get all the flavors, you get all the aromas, you get all the complete package in a very small size of a cigar.
The Edward
We like
Sahakian
that.
short walk selection.
And now we're moving on to the fabled Cubans.
We're going to go to the
We move
Havanas
on
now. The
to the
Havanas,
next island, the
you've
next
moved on.
island.
This is a slightly longer short walk.
We have a lovely cigar here. Not many people have heard about it or didn't even know about
The
its
Hoya du
existence.
Deputé.
Whenever you talk about Hoya de Monterey, it's either a Epicure
number two,
or a double Corona or a Churchill size. But the Deputé in the old days, it used to be very popular and it's a very nice size. It's about the same size as Monte Cristo number 5, more or less in
Similar.
that category.
One question, Dad, was that not the precursor to the Davidoff, the Cuban Davidoff 1000? 'Cause didn't they do a series which were based on the
Yeah, the 1000
Ah.
was
Le
slightly
Hoyo series?
it
Ooh,
was
interesting.
slightly
Of course,
longer,
with the
if I
gourmet
remember.
Gourmet was the
Yes.
3000, and then there was the
Certainly,
Dubois was something else.
Of course, yeah.
All I remember is I used to smoke that when I worked at the Evening Standard, and I used to come for lunch at Le Caprice, and that was the sort of that was a short to medium taxi ride cigar.
I
I would-
you could smoke in a taxi. as
I would
well.
come from Le Caprice, I would come in, get a hired deputy, hail a taxi, and go back to the Evening Standard in W8, and finish it just as I was going up the stairs into the office.
That's so good.
Those were the days.
Those were the days.
So
And
the-
then, what have we got next?
the last.
The last one, of course, is one of my all-time favorites, as you all know, no secret on that, is the Trinidad Reyes.
The Reyes, you
That
cornered
is-
the market in packs of 5, haven't you, Edward?
I did, because the packs of 5 were a beautiful package, and 5 of them individually packed in cardboard
Yes.
sleeves, and it just fits into the pocket perfectly. It's an easy smoke. It's a cigar that I can smoke in the morning with my coffee, after lunch during the day, in the evening after dinner. If I want to sit outside in the terrace and
No, we've got to
enjoy a
walk,
quick
Edward.
smoke.
No, you can't have the short sit outside. It's a short walk cigar.
And if I had a dog, a little poodle, I would be smoking this probably.
That would be the
when
cigar
I'm
of
drinking
choice.
it for
We
a
should
bit.
actually do it. Which one shall I have, Edward?
I know what I'm going for.
You start.
I think I'm going for this
The
one.
Nicaragua.
Nicaragua. Unless you want the.
No, maybe.
Well, there's more than one to choose from.
Well, what are you going to have, Eddie? You've got the long walk selection.
Well,
going.
yes.
on the,
what
on
do you
the
want?
I
bird
walk
is
more
that?
slowly than my father, so I've got my Grand Cru number 2 here.
I
From
see,
the
I
Edward
see.
Sahakian long walk selection.
Indeed, and one which I started earlier just to ensure that it burns. I
And
was
you-
worried it wouldn't.
And you will enjoy this.
So what are you
And your
having,
Longwood.
Edward?
I'm going to, as we're doing an experiment here, more or less, for our viewers over there.
Our single viewer. Maybe you have more than one. We
I'm
pride
going
ourselves.
to start with the Winston Churchill.
Oh,
Because it's a very
controversial
quick
choice.
Okay, maybe I should then start with the Nicaraguan. Or
All right.
are you going to have the Nicaraguan?
No, let me
next?
do the entry actor then. Let me do the
Okay.
entry actor. You do the Nicaraguan.
Okay, or do you think we should do it when we know what the Havana ones taste like?
Yeah.
And we are in Davidoff, so maybe
Absolutely, yes.
But by the way, you know you can cut through the
I
cellophane.
do
which-
sometimes. Yes, I know. This
Yes.
is the trick I learned.
That's the COVID safe.
It is. It's a
version
very
of touching a
hygienic
cigar.
presentation.
There you go,
Should
yes.
we be concerned?
I'm always very concerned about hygienic presentation, Eddie.
Might I? Oh, the scissors. The scissors. The
Oh,
Davidoff
those are those
scissors.
rare Davidoff cutters there.
Very
Look at
good.
that. That's a
Beautiful.
very, very sharp cut.
I love it. It's even got the mountains of Nicaragua
That is what
represented
we're
on the
talking
band.
about.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a geography lesson as well as a cigar. Maybe it's a cigar suggested for mountain climbing. The Edward Sahakian short mountain selection.
I'm the only one lighting with a jet flame.
I did bring a jet flame with me, but I felt
Indoors,
that would be
it's a
inappropriate.
bit excessive, isn't it?
Yes, I love the way they call them sport lighters.
I should really have the cedar spill.
Yes.
You like
Oh, I can smell the
Nicaragua.
Nicaraguan.
I might need to use your lighter. Mine's failing me in more way than one. Oh,
There you are, man.
Le Grand. That is what. Look at this.
Whoa!
Well, that brings up an
Whoa.
interesting question. What light did you take on a short walk?
Mmm.
Especially if it's windy.
Well, that would be a blue flame. But what's the one with the most blue flames? Because there are those American lighters which have more than one blue
Triple,
flame.
quadruple.
Yes.
Do they have quadruple blue flames?
Yeah.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
they're working on a 5th one as well.
Those are like things that went to the moon.
I think Elon Musk has developed one for his
Mm.
Mars mission.
But we can't use cryptocurrency to buy it. Do you take cryptocurrency here?
We should, but I haven't worked out how to do it yet. I want to bolt it onto our website. Who's that chap who
Those.
for 2 pizzas he was willing to pay how many Bitcoin? It was worth $450 million
No.
now.
Yes.
Back in 2008 when it
But
first
he's
came out.
forgotten the password, I think.
No, he hasn't forgotten that. He put out an offer that he for 2 pizzas delivered to his home in Florida, he would pay X thousand or whatever Bitcoins and
Not thousands.
oh yes, it was at the time.
That's
Bitcoin was
when it was
worth
worth
almost nothing.
nothing.
So
And now, how much?
Now it's about $450 million.
No.
I mean,
For
what
two
a world.
pizzas.
What happened? Did you buy the pizzas?
I don't know. I'm not sure.
You still
It's
got
a nice
missing.
story, though.
It's a
isn't
good
it?
story. No,
Yeah.
it's true. It is true.
It's a good one.
Mm.
So what, Max, do they supply tasting notes with the Nicaraguan? Because I got that slight sort
sure.
of, I've got that, I don't know, it's sort of woody, cinnamon.
Give it an inch or
Yeah.
so before you decide, because it does take a little bit of time to warm up.
Got a bit of chocolate here, inevitably.
That's not just the Cadbury's bar you had before
No,
you
no,
arrived.
no, I don't have a Cadbury. Oh, look,
No,
there's a customer who can't read the fact that it's closed.
Yes, well, it is rather misleading, isn't it? Us.
No,
we
we're
had the
sitting in here,
closed
it's
sign.
closed, it's closed.
We're just enjoying a
We're
short
just the last
walk.
customers. We're
a
just
short
enjoying a
walk
short
cigar.
walk selection by sitting down. We
Yeah,
should really
yeah.
we should really be striding energetically around London smoking this. I mean, we are the least athletic walkers I think I've ever seen in my life.
At least we're doing the smoking part.
But the short walk selection is an idea of genius, and the great thing is we can expand it to embrace all sorts of the light jog, the 5K, the
The Iron Man.
the Iron Man. But the swimming part might be a bit difficult.
That would be so good.
The short cycle, the long cycle. I used to smoke cigars on my bicycle.
You did. They made you go faster.
Mm-hmm.
It was the whole idea.
I've done
Yeah.
that, and it's fun.
Yeah, there you go.
It is fun.
Mm.
Actually, I've done it right here, wearing my hat, cigar in my mouth. A few people sort of turned around and gave me an unusual look.
Yes.
Edward, it's brilliant.
At least the cyclist behind you will enjoy the
I'm
aroma of
having
your
a
fine.
slight problem with the bits of tobacco, as you can
Is
see.
that the Tropicina Media Special?
Yeah.
See, that's the issue you get with it, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm never mad about these.
But they've got a nice flavour to them. You
Yeah.
should, you know.
Well, maybe I'll have that. But I mean, it looks a little. It doesn't have the elegance.
It's the value proposition with
Is
those,
it a value
I think.
proposition?
Yes. It's for about the equivalent of about £5 a cigar, you're getting a much better cigar than you would expect for
Yeah.
£5. Right?
Yes, that's Davidoff. And also the thing is, you know it's going to work.
Yes, for sure.
Now you're experimenting.
Now,
You're taking a second walk.
I'm going to move on to the interactor.
So I think my one, I might have given it enough time now, is quite tart. There's a kind of
Sharpness
spice
to
to it, a sharpness as well.
Is that
but
the
it's-
interactor?
This
you
is,
have?
yeah, exactly. But it's got this kind of underlying richness that you can tell will prevail. And you'll definitely know. Also, once maybe your palate is desensitized to the initial spiciness of the cigar, you'll notice other deeper, richer flavors.
This
But a
is
great
nice.
construction as well. Look
But
at
I mean,
that.
the construction is always unparalleled.
You don't even need to bother checking these things.
No,
they're
I mean they
perfect.
really are. I mean with Davidoff, the most amazing ash. But what I mean, the Nicaraguan is seen as a stronger cigar, isn't it? Really.
It is, yes. It's in the Davidoff portfolio, the black labels, which this sits within. The Nicaraguan is in medium. There's a Yamasa, which is very
Oh, the
strong.
Yamanta is the one that twists your head off and puts it into a corner.
That's
isn't it?
right. It'll knock you out.
Do they still make it?
They do.
Did
And
they stop making it for a while, or was that the Oro?
that was the Puro Duro with the gold band
Yes.
caps. That one was discontinued.
They were lovely cigars.
They were.
Powerful.
They're a
Right?
collector's
yes.
item now, and you can't find them.
Mm.
Going around trying to find them.
Well, there's rumours they're discontinuing the 702 series now as well.
Which is the 702?
That's where they've taken 5 of the classics and rewrapped them with a Havana Ecuador wrapper.
Interesting.
And it profoundly changes the flavour profile. I never thought it would be so
Have you
important.
tested them side by side?
Yes. So, for example, the number 2, the Intracto, the Special R, they've all had the wrapper changed.
The Special R was a great favourite of mine.
You love them.
I thought they were fantastic.
Yeah.
That was your traveling companion.
That was my travelling companion for many, many
Really?
years. Yeah,
I
yeah,
didn't
yeah,
know
yeah,
that.
yeah.
I didn't know that. And the 702 series is significantly stronger than its cousins inside of the signature,
Well,
the Aniversario.
For me, yes, but it proves the point that your eyes are tasting and
Yeah.
tasting strength, because that single wrapper leaf surely cannot have that much difference.
Hanky would give us the exact percentage of effect on the flavour.
Good old Hanky.
Have you heard from him
I miss
lately?
him. I did a Zoom with some friends, and he was there as well, with his son, Klaus. As a matter of fact, it was Eddie, myself, and Hank.
I think I remember this was when you were in the house, wasn't it?
Yes, yeah.
I remember that one. That was great. Do you remember we tuned in for that, Max? You were at home.
Yes, that was great. I watched that with you, didn't I?
You did. You did.
Yeah.
What are you wearing on your neck?
Some
some of the-
neck
some
clasps,
mild
royal
ones or
necklace.
not?
But I've seemed to have lost 2 of them somewhere. It's very
Oh.
upsetting, actually. But you know, try not to let it upset me too
So
much.
this is more kind of chocolatey. It's quite sort of. It's a bit rich.
You've got a very nice, dark, oily wrapper.
It's a beautiful
It's a
wrapper.
lovely wrapper.
Nick, do you see the change with, because with the Nicaraguan Davidoffs, often it starts quite peppery and then sweetness.
The
comes
sweetness
through.
is certainly coming on.
Okay.
Yes, because I got a slightly not aggressive, not abrasive, but certainly assertive beginning.
Mm.
Shall we give the viewer a break now while we finish the rest of the cigar?
We shall return.
We went for our short walk, and we've now returned and are having a short rest. I'm working my way down the Nicaraguan, and what you said was very interesting, because it began in this fairly, I described it as assertive, but certainly a very noticeable way. And now it's becoming a more docile cigar. It's smooth, it's creamy, it's chocolatey. How do they do that? Because normally it's the other way around. Normally it gets, because they normally arrange it with the leaf closer to the stem, don't they, at the mouth end? And
Yes, that's right. Nick, it must be magic. I mean, the only thing I can think is they do this with all the Nicaraguan blends. The first inch is always, as you said, assertive. For me, I find it quite peppery. And then it transforms. And they must be proactively putting slightly different blending in the first inch, and then changing that combination as it progresses down the cigar. There's no other way to do it, as far as I know.
it's extraordinary. And I mean, also the great thing is that when they take something like that at Davidoff, they really do go to town on it. I mean, remember those notes you get from the cigar, and it's got pictograms, so it's got like a
Yes,
picture of a
yes,
cake. So you're
great.
supposed to taste cake.
It's so
And
good.
then after a centimeter, it changes instantly to hot chocolate. So you're then tasting hot chocolate.
And
It's
treacle
like,
or something.
It's like that sweet in Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
The
taste of
whole
it.
dinner in one
Yes,
sweet.
yes. I mean, it is brilliant. But I mean, sadly, I'm lacking the pictogram to tell me what it is that I'm tasting. But I have to say, it's very impressive.
And look at my ash viewer. It's quite something. It's such a good construction. It's
And
leaning slightly.
you're
but that'll be-
racing through the interactor.
And Edward's already building up this
Well,
beautiful snowy ash.
The ash is building up on its own. It's beautiful ash, silvery color. I would normally preserve this and flick it in one of my flower pots at home
When you return from the short walk.
when I return from the short walk, because this will last that long as well. I could probably get the ash right down to the band.
But you're an expert, Ed, but I think you might have smoked a cigar or two before.
Now I have to suffice putting it down here in the ashtray, and I'm going to join you.
You're going to join me in the
The
Nicaraguan.
Nicaraguan, yeah.
But they really, also they know how to, have you noticed this with the Nicaraguans, they generate more smoke.
Question, this is for you, Dad, for you, Nick. What is the color of the ash telling us? Is it telling us anything about the composition of the tobacco?
As far as I remember, and this probably applies more for the Cuban cigars,
Yes,
it was the sign of age.
Ah,
The more silvery,
the older.
the older, the better matured and fermented tobacco.
With these, I don't know, there was another theory that it's minerals in the
There's
ground, isn't
another
it?
one. But I've noticed certainly on an older cigar, well, when I've had the pleasure of smoking quite an old one, the ash is much whiter than a new Cuban cigar.
Not only old, but also well
kept.
fermented.
Yeah. Okay.
Well
Oh,
fermented.
I see.
Because you could
Like
do
a kimchi.
We were having this discussion a few nights ago on Zoom, and not any old tobacco is good tobacco. The old
No, if it's a
tobacco
rubbish cigar to
is-
start with, the
Yeah,
chances are it'll be a
exactly.
rubbish
If it
cigar when
wasn't
it's
fermented
finished.
properly, it will never be a good tobacco. Keep it 100 years, it will still be the same old
just worse. But I mean, that's the thing, because it's all about the sugar in the leaves, isn't it, and all that kind of thing. What shall I move on to something else in the spirit of?
That's a wonderful idea.
I'm
Yes.
perfectly happy with my cigar, so I'm going to
You're gonna keep
continue smoking it.
Shall I go into a?
Try a Cuban,
We'll
go
hop
on.
across. We'll hop across the Caribbean, and have a Cuban.
Trinidad. Very exciting.
Yes, we live in exciting times.
Mm.
How's your cigar, Eddie?
Well, it's wonderful. Great development. The Grand Cru series is a little more punchy in the Davidoff white label range, but still very approachable on any length of walk, honestly. When you walk as slowly as I do, it's just perfect.
Mm. My favourite was the. For
What
a long
about
walk,
sleepwalking, though? That's what I want to know. 'Cause I mean, I want to know about some somnambulism.
You only save the finest cigars for sleepwalking, the Hiques and Sublimes to enjoy at night. I was saying that my favourite for a long walk would be Millennium Blend Lonsdale. Unfortunately now it discontinued Vitola, but I did have a short obsession with them when we had them in stock. But unfortunately I made the mistake of notifying customers. that we
Yes,
had
you
them
always
as
do
well.
that. You always do that. You always rather,
I'm too kind.
foolishly. What did you alert them to the other day? That was quite the Vegas Rubina.
The Familiares,
The
and now
Familiares.
we're already down to a single box from.
Well, the Perlas as well. You
The
spotted some
Perlas.
wonderful Rafael Gonzalez
Oh,
Perlas.
those
They're
beautiful ones in the
They're
packs.
one of my favorites.
Yeah, that's so good. And I know it's Eddie. I think you're more keen on the new one, but the Hoyo Deputés, the old ones that we have, I'm very much enjoying.
2001 series.
Yes, those you were.
And don't
you-
talk too much about that because we don't have that many.
No, we haven't.
You-
You know what? I don't think we have any at all.
No.
None
In case if you
whatsoever.
find some at home, bring them into the shop.
Please.
They'll return if you've got any at home. Return them immediately.
They've expired.
They'll give you half your money back.
They're off. They're off. They've gone mouldy.
They'll buy them back at 1991 prices.
I've had a mishap. I've ashed on the.
God, it's all going to seed. It's all going to
Ashed on the
pot here. I
floor,
might have to go
ashed
for.
on
I might
the-
have to go for a short walk. Shall I go and fetch myself one of the thumbsticks to Eddie? Would you fetch me
May
a
I?
thumbstick?
Yes, of
Would you
course.
select me a thumbstick to go with my cigar?
Yes.
I wanted to match the shade of the wrapper, if you wouldn't mind.
Well,
I'm getting that
I think-
peppery start with.
it's a little bit long, but it has a whistle built into it.
That's what we're talking
For your
about.
sheepdog,
And
of
you know the
course.
one. You know the one that we should have is also one with a sort of cigar holder in it.
That is what we're talking. Look at that. That's a real
Oh
thing.
yeah, that's brilliant. So, woo.
That'll aid you in,
You are.
walking short distances.
What did Chairman Mao say? It's 100 years of the Communist Party this year, and the longest walk begins with the shortest step. So what would Chairman Mao have smoked on his long walk?
This is the question we leave with you, viewer.
The Chairman Mao Long March selection.
The long march and the short
Fighting
march.
the virus one corona at a chime. At a
A
chime.
chime. A single chime of the bell. Here we are.
But thank you, viewer.
You're
It's
very
been-
kind for watching,
It's
viewer.
been quite exhausting to match the athleticism and the tobacco, but we've done our best.
And Eddie and Edward, you're ever so kind for staying open after hours for us to join you in a.
It is the
in a
greatest
smoker's
pleasure
cigar.
to have you both here, or three of you, including Freddie there.
The mystery man.
The mystery man.
Yeah.
The Sidney Pollack. Yes. Cecil B. DeMille of cigar filming.
Mm.
Anyway, he is very much, he's in his director's chair with his jodhpurs and his riding boots and his megaphone, and he's telling us to stop, shut up and go home.
Yeah.
So I think, viewer, don't you have a home to go to? We certainly do, and we'll be walking home tonight.
Yay!
Hooray! Woo!